Hi, it's Winton Churchill with the Barefoot Consultants, and I'd like to welcome you to our Facebook Friday, especially after this Thanksgiving uh, Thursday, which many of us had turkey dinners and celebrated in the United States. I know that folks in Canada celebrate earlier in the year, and there's many other similar celebrations around the world at different times throughout the year. So lots of interesting celebrations in the U.S. And it occurred to me that the Thanksgiving holiday creates this new holiday that's you'll find it. I got a couple notices about it yesterday. It's called National Turkey Sandwich Day. I mean, who knew there was a National Turkey Sandwich Day? But it certainly makes a lot of sense because one of the greatest things to have after Thanksgiving, as if we all hadn't eaten enough, is a turkey sandwich. Although probably a good change of pace from the volume of food that we had to eat when and enjoyed for the most part, I'm sure, on Thanksgiving Day. So, but it kind of reminded me in an odd sort of way about how people start freelancing, particularly baby boomers. You know, when you have a strategy for making a turkey sandwich, and the first thing to do is you survey what's left. You know, it's a little bit like taking a look at your career. You look at all the nooks and crannies. You look in the refrigerator. You might look in the place you keep your bread. You might have a special place that you keep desserts. You might have, all kinds of leftover things are in all these different places, different parts of the refrigerator, maybe some in the freezer. And you go in and you look at all that and kind of take an inventory of what's going on. And that's really what we do with your career, especially when a coach works with you, is kind of looks at all the nooks and crannies of your career, because what most people don't realize is a lot of those previous jobs they had, previous volunteer experience, previous hobby experience, that kind of thing, can all come into play when you're looking at building a profile for an online profile. So what we really want to do in that first step is look at everything. We don't want to start doing critical thinking. We don't want to rule things out. And one of the things that I've been amazed in the 14 years that I've been doing this is that many people leave a lot of stuff out. They think that because it was in their career past, that it doesn't have relevance now. And what I know about that is oftentimes we find something in somebody's past that they've done that has a lot of relevance now. It might be called something different. I remember somebody that we were working with, and they had what today would be called a supply chain background. They engineered transportation systems for companies when they had to figure out how to get something from the factory into the distribution and on the store shelves. And of course, as you know, right now there's all kinds of problems with shipments coming in and freighters from China being rerouted and really all over the world. And this is a giant transportation problem. Well, this particular individual left the transportation business really about 10 years ago, but they knew completely how it operated at that point, and a lot of detail about it, a lot of detail that may not be valuable if we were under normal circumstances. The transportation field moves on. It's turned into what's called the supply chain now, and that has some IT components to it and all that kind of thing. So it's different. But if you are looking around in a crisis for people that understand something about supply chain, much better to start with somebody that had a decade of experience in the supply chain rather than somebody that has no experience. And that's what we're seeing right now. And some of the highest paying work on the online networks is in the supply chain area right now because there's just a lot of problems to solve there. After you do your survey, the next thing to do is to start picking up the good bits, and what are the good bits? There's lots of good bits, and let's see, and we got aloha from Kauai. Could that be Doug? That might be Doug. Very good. Good to see you. Welcome. Um, so the next part of this is look the good bits. There's a little bit of turkey there. There's a little bit of leftover dressing that's still fresh and edible, and there may be some salad that has you know gone the way of all salad and doesn't look too good, and a little cranberry sauce that looks pretty good. So you've got that to jump on. And so you start putting together your new sandwich. And usually you get out a couple pieces of bread, so that's new and fresh. And then you put a couple layers of turkey on it. You might also put down some things like mayonnaise and that kind of thing. And it's a little bit like building a profile. Nobody would confuse the sandwich with Thanksgiving Day dinner or whatever your meal was, lunch, afternoon, whatever it might have been. Taste a lot the same, a lot of the same flavors, but it's a completely different form. And we run into this problem a lot with people that come out of organizations where everything rode on their resume. They had to depend on their resume and are thinking that their resume is what's going to carry them into the world of freelancing. And I would say that your resume is as different as Thanksgiving Day dinner is from the turkey sandwich. We really have to look at all the components of your resume and then other aspects of your interest, your skills, your life stuff. And there's Doug. Very good. Good to see you, Doug. So you piece all that together, and especially what's important now for baby boomers and people that are in the 50 plus category is that wisdom that they've learned from fighting lots of battles. There's a lot of hard earned skill there that really is very pertinent for the situation that we're in right now. There are lots of problems to be solved, lots of different potential ways to solve it. But the times that we're in, the shipping situation, the pandemic situation, the do we go back to the office situation, there's just you can't pick up the book and it says here's what you do. It's different. So when you're selecting all these little bits, you're bringing your your profile together, your skill set together, in order to work online, because not everybody wants to eat turkey right now. They want good hard skills, good hard wisdom that they can bring to bear on the challenges that there's facing right now. And so the next part is really structuring your sandwich. You've got everything. You've figured out what you want to do with it, and you start laying it out on that wonderful piece of bread you may have pulled out of your bread basket or whatever it might be, and you build a sandwich to your liking. And that's an important aspect of working online that a lot of people don't get at first, is that you get to build a freelance career to your liking. You bring in elements that you like, the things that you like doing. I know that when I worked for a major IT company, that I used PowerPoint a lot every day. And if you would have told me, I don't know, 20 years ago when I started freelancing, hey, you could make PowerPoint presentations every day and earn an income, and I would have said, no way. I've had enough of that. I don't want to do any more of that. And what I found out is that I really didn't want to do it on behalf of a software company, talking about, different aspects of software, which were very interesting at that time to me, but then became something that I was not so interested in talking about anymore. And I found that when I started talking about freelancing and portable income and that kind of thing, that all those PowerPoint skills came back into the picture. And especially for those of you that are on the call now that go to our Tuesday night call, those are largely training calls. We use a lot of PowerPoint slides to explain things and emphasize things and that kind of thing. So I'm probably using that tool as much as I ever did now, but I'm using it in a way that is completely different and to an audience that was completely different. And that's what makes that so enjoyable. And so in the same way that what you were looking at yesterday for Thanksgiving dinner and maybe didn't want too much of might be more appealing today, even as you reconfigure it on that piece of bread that you're laying it out there. So um, very much the same sort of thing, the same idea of taking a look at that career, your life experience, those kinds of things, and then pulling them off into your freelancing sandwich, if you will, your online freelancing sandwich. So happy to take any questions. I see um, uh, Bob Herb is calling in from Roatan. Very good. Bob's a scuba diving photographer that has some fabulous photographs over on his Facebook page. Might want to take a look at that. I just saw some recently, and just excellent work that you're doing there, Bob. Congratulations. Um, so yeah, all righty. Good. And so happy to answer any questions you might have, any reflections on Thanksgiving, things that you were thankful for, in spite of all uh, the hassle factor we've had over the last 18 months. Uh, we pulled off another uh, pandemic Thanksgiving, the second one, for those of us that did it. And looking forward to a better third one. Last year it was pretty rough. With the virus going around and that kind of thing, and lots of good things on the horizon. Lots of question marks about what gets done health wise. But generally, more people are doing better than they were last year. So that's a good thing. Um, so the next year is shaping up to be a big year for freelancers, as virtually every business, organization, nonprofit, government agency has to, in many ways, reinvent themselves to deal with the new realities. I was talking with a baby boomer the other day, and they said that all people 50 plus are going to be the last people to come back into the office, and because age tends to be one of the factors that people who are most frequently affected or severely affected by the virus have to deal with. So it's okay when everybody is out of the office, but it's not so good when you're the only one or the only age group that's out of the office. You don't have your ear to the ground. You don't have that sense of what's going on in the office. We have the great resignation that is going on now. I think the number is in the month of October, 4.1 million people quit their jobs. Phenomenal. We're still at a time where companies have many open jobs that they can't fill. They're trying to find talent to come into those jobs, and this is where freelancing is playing a big role. Is companies used to think in terms of we've got to hire this employee, we got to bring them in and get them to do stuff, and of course now they can bring people that have a specific expertise and bring them right into their organization. This is a very good thing, and have them work maybe a few hours a week on something that's very specialized. It could be like event planning, or it could be working on a newsletter to make sure that communication gets out on a weekly basis. And they're solely focused on that task. And the company is able to hire an expert in that task, like newsletters, versus having an employee who might be there 40 hours a week take that piece on and kind of not do it very well because they don't know how to do it very well. This is one of the things that happens when we've all worked in jobs where the boss came along and gave you something else to do, sort of tacked it onto your list of things to do, and you look down at the end of the month or the end of the quarter and you really haven't done anything with it because it was kind of out there, and yeah, it was on your schedule, but you really didn't have the time to do it. You didn't have the resources to do it. You didn't have the training to do it, and if the boss really wants to get that done now, once they learn how to use a system like Upwork or Freelancer, they can go out and select that person right out of the crowd that can come in for a few hours a week and completely knows how to piece that together. The other thing that they do when they select a freelancer and bring them in like that is that person doesn't have, in many cases, the fatigue that many of the employees that have been working through the pandemic schedule. There's it's taken a toll. It's been complicated. It's been going one way this week and the other way the next week. So there's been a lot of back and forth. There's been a lot of plans laid, and a lot of plans that never went to fruition just because the world is changing and circumstances changed. Different companies who had maybe headquarters in one area have moved them to another for some reason, or they've split up into smaller multiple units, so they don't have everybody working in one building. No concentration of that kind of thing. No big city life or environment. So lots of change, and lots of change means lots of kind of digging out a hole and putting it back together again, so that we can all get back to work and play like we remember it. That's what we're going for. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. I appreciate you stopping by. Look forward to seeing everybody. Want to remind those of you that are watching this on the playback that if you have any questions or want to contribute something that you're thankful for, just pop it in the chat there, and we'll see it and we'll respond to it and that kind of thing. We always appreciate those folks. 95% of the people that watch this Facebook Friday are watching it at some time other than Facebook Friday. So we look forward to seeing you during the week. So with that, have a great rest of your Thanksgiving holiday if you're in the U.S., and if you're around the world, which many of our listeners are, happy to have you here as well, and appreciate the time. I know I do, to think about the things that I'm thankful for. Lots of good stuff coming. So have a great week freelancing, and before you get back to freelancing, enjoy your family time and your Thanksgiving time, and we'll see you next Tuesday night for our members, and next Friday right here at this same time for our Facebook Friday. Take care. Adios.